Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sons and Daughters of Liberty. Tonight, I'm going to do something a little bit different. This will probably end up getting titled on the put in the Ramblings of the Chaotic Minds playlist. But for the time being, know thyself. I was rereading an article that I wrote for the magazine. Yes, I actually do reread my work from time to time. And I felt that what I had wrote about needs to be touched upon a little bit more, just in specific the know thyself part. You see, our minds are such a powerful tool, but yet so many people give others control over their minds, while yet others have become prisoners to their own minds through false truths and false ideologies. This is why it's so important to know thyself. And it's actually quite true. I don't think people realize how powerful their mind is. It takes in everything we hear, everything we see, everything that we don't even make a mental note. We hear things that we don't even consciously pick up on. Like when we view a room, walk into a place, we pick up on so much more information. Only our conscious mind picks up what's really in front of us. It doesn't pick up what's so much in the peripherals, but it takes it all in. We live in a day and age where we're so bombarded with imagery, high-end graphics, with different ideologies and trains of thought. And the ego's cleared down to even what's being taught in schools compared to what would be taught in the home. All these things get imprinted upon our minds. That's why it is important to question everything, question yourself. When you start questioning things, you start freeing up and becoming more aware of the things that aren't necessarily true, the things that might have control over you. We can get into the aspects of fear. In many cases, fear is just something that we've created in our own mind. Just like limitations. Oh, I can't do that. Whatever the excuse is, because I can't do it. Have you tried to do it? Have you tried to push yourself to do it? Is it really a limitation, or is it something that you fabricated in your own mind? We do that a lot. I don't think a lot of people are really aware of how much we actually do that to ourselves. We are constantly learning, growing, changing. But yet we'll see some people, they don't change. They're stuck in their ways, so to speak. Or stubborn. Why? Because they're not questioning the things that they perceive, the things that they take in or think they believe to be reality, to be truth. When in fact that most things have a little truth to them. A lot of times we're not ready to, at that point in time in our life, we might not be ready to learn what is being shown to us or taught to us. It might not trigger until years down the road or months down the road. But if you're not questioning yourself, you're actually putting a wall and a barrier up that will not allow that to trigger and manifest itself to where that change can come about. We should always be pushing our boundaries. We should always be questioning things. Why do we believe this so strongly? And in many cases, it's because it's what we grew up. That's what we were taught when we were growing up. There is nothing other than that. So that's our mindset on a lot of things. That is a self-created mindset. You know, that's how other people in this world, whatever title or label you want to give them, manipulate and control people. That's how labels, why you always hear me talking about the labels. That's how come they're so powerful. Because you put yourself in that box. You create that within your own mind and you don't question it. So it becomes a reality for you, where it's not a reality for somebody else. Why is that? Have you ever stopped and asked why? Have you ever questioned why you believe so strongly in this? I know from personal experience. I was taught not to question my elders, not to question the teachers, not to question what I heard in church. Which I don't recommend questioning when it comes to your faith. Faith is very important. We'll say to get that out the way right now. No matter what you believe in, your faith is important. But it will remind you of a certain parable that Jesus says. It was one of the first parables where he talks about to look through a child's eyes, see things through a child's eyes. Understand that as well when it comes to spirituality and faith. Why does he refer to children? Well, it's actually quite simple. Children are innocent. They haven't been taught all the dogmas, all the strict laws and rules. They see the world for what it really is. It's the pure and innocent. They don't know right from wrong, but yet they do. They learn it. Whether they touch something that's hot, they know that's hot, not to touch it again. But now here comes the other aspect of it. This is them programming their minds. They know when they do something wrong, they're going to get punished. They might get verbally yelled at. They might get spanked. We have a profound impact on our children's mental state and how they perceive the world. So when they get of age to send them off to school, now the school is teaching them rights, wrongs, histories. So what happens when we start stripping history from the history books, saying these things didn't happen? Or we start teaching transgender to our kids at those early ages when they're most impressionable to them. This is the power of the mind. Our minds are probably one of the least used tools that we have. I can't remember the percentage. It's shockingly very low. It's like 5-8% of our brains we use, of our mind. We only use a small fraction of it. I mean, we can go all over the map with this topic. But we also know and can find cases where the power of the mind has overcome fears, has overcome limitations. You know, many books have been written on the subject. The Secret. Using your mind for success. Believing in yourself. See, you're using your mind to make something happen if you believe it will. That's how powerful our minds are when we start using them. I want to make this good and clear to everybody. You know, people out there in the world know how powerful the mind is. They know how to trigger you. They know how to put images that look all innocent but yet are full of meaning. You see a harmless image and you don't question it because you don't know any better. And it's where division starts happening. Those that do know about these things, well, that's taboo. That's evil. But even with that community, gotten to the point where they are bombarded with it. You know, it's to the point where we need to really set back and do self-reflection. Question the things that we think we know. Why do we know them? How were they taught to us? Why do I disagree with this whole ideology? Or why does this one subject bother me so much? Well, it's bothered me, therefore it's something, and that subject has triggered me. Why did it trigger me? Why did I react to it? If you react to something, stop. Start questioning why you react. Start thinking. There's probably a lesson that needs to be learned there. Or it's bothering you because you're aware that something's not right. But to be able to discern the difference between a lesson or something's not right, you have to know thyself. You got to free yourself from those shackles that are binding you. You got to destroy those false ideologies, delusions of grandeur that you've created, because we do create a lot of junk that blocks us from perceiving these things. Why? Because we don't want to get hurt, or we don't want to feel a certain way. We don't question why we felt that way. It's just like with fear. Fear's the easiest one to talk about. The one that everyone can relate. And it's the one people laugh at when some people tell you this, you don't fear. They fear something. Everyone fears something. But they've learned to conquer their fears, to give those fears no power. Much like words, we give words so much power over us. That's all mental. That's all in our mind. No word should have power over anyone whatsoever. Now do you see how they use labels to ensnare you and entrap you and enslave you? Because you're giving a word power. You're giving someone else control over you. You never question why, or you may never realize that you're even doing that. Because nobody else is going to tell you to do that. But we all know it. Every religious faith and belief out there knows it. Think about it. What does a good Bible tell you to do in a situation where something maybe evil is in your presence? Power of words, power of faith, power of your mind, which some will argue that's not your mind. That's the point. Even I might argue on that one a bit. The point is, there's power there. Why? We're giving it power. That's the point I'm trying to make. We're consciously and subconsciously giving that name power. Why? Because it says it has power, and we believe that. See, there's all ways to interpret things. There's ways to see, all different types of ways to see things, understand things. But the one thing that we never really truly, there's two things we don't truly understand. One we'll never understand, which I firmly believe that. That's God. You'll never truly understand and know God. No, I believe that. And I'm not going to sit here and try to unravel the mystery of God. That's why I have faith. But the one thing that everyone is, I admit it, I'm a walking enigma to myself. I amaze myself at times. In fact, I think there's other people out there that know me better than I know myself. What's that say for knowing thyself? Which isn't entirely true. I know myself quite well. Better than most. With room for lots of improvement. Because, hey, if I can get triggered by something, I have room for improvement. Which don't happen often. But that usually when it does happen, it's the reminder that, hey, I'm not cleaning house. I'm not questioning things. I'm not self-reflecting, which I do a lot. I actually set aside a whole month aside for self-reflection every year. Just something I do. There's no rhyme or reason to it, other than I felt the need to do it, and it became a routine every year. That I'll chop off the face of the earth, literally, disconnect. Start going through things that I've learned over the years, things that, just a year, that's happened up to that point. No, it's not New Year's for me. But that might be a good day to do it. Self-reflection. What have I learned this year? What have I accomplished? What goals? Why did these things trigger me? Learn the lessons that were brought before you. By doing so, by questioning things, realizing things, you start freeing yourself from some of the delusions and false illusions and false realities that you've created yourself. But you're also freeing yourself from the things that have embedded themselves that you didn't even catch at the time, through imagery, through the high graphics. When I say high graphics, I'm talking about the flash rates, the mesmer effects, things you have heard and taken in. All these things are imprinted in our minds. Why did your view so radically change all of a sudden? I've actually watched and witnessed this happen to people I know, how their views all of a sudden radically changed. For no rhyme or reason. We've all watched things come about, take place. We've all watched the division. And many of us have questioned why. Sometimes we don't even notice the changes in ourselves. Others do. We don't notice it until it's pointed out. And truthfully, it should never have to be pointed out to by anybody. We should know thyself. We should be aware enough to, hey, why did I react this way? Why I feel differently towards this subject? Start researching, start questioning. See, maybe it is something you need to learn. Maybe there's something that needs to be changed. Or maybe it's manipulation and somebody's trying to control you and change aspects of you. A Free Spirit Press. Sorry, I just now seen it. I didn't have the window open. We live in a day of age where we're surrounded by digital electronics, frequencies and vibrations. And for those that, oh, that's mumble jumble. Well, we all know certain communities, your community knows it, that your router downstairs, wherever it may be in your house, it puts off EMF, high levels of EMF. Your phone puts off EMF. Research the connections with EMF and to the mind, what it can cause. It can cause illusions. It can cause delusions. And in some cases, it can be used to manipulate and change a person. That's some of the things that you have allowed into your own homes, that you carry around in your pockets or hold up to your ear while you're talking, plug in a Bluetooth, or go to bed on the nightstand, and you're bombarded with that. How many cases over the last few years as cell frequency has increased from 2G, 3G to 4G? Heaven forbid what 5G is going to feel like. How many cases have you heard people talk about they have ringing in their ears for no reason? They never worked around loud equipment, went to concerts, so there's no reason for that ringing in their ears. Oh, we got a medical term for that. That's what it is. No, I don't think so. In fact, I actually know better. But how do I know it? Well, I know thyself. I know myself. And I know the things I've learned throughout the years, studied, followed. I know how powerful, yeah, here's one for you, how powerful music notes are. Because what are music notes? Are frequencies and vibrations. The ability to change or mimic that. I also know through study of science and anatomy that our bodies produce its own frequency and energy. Think about it. Now there is technically, if you work around loud machinery, listen to loud music, whether it be in your homes, in your car, or go to concerts, there is a medical condition. It begins with a T, I can't pronounce it. It's kind of way too late for me to be pronouncing big long words. But then again, when you know thyself, you pick up on those subtle changes, like, wait, why all of a sudden my ears ringing all the time, constantly? I know my body. I know it's not a medical condition, so therefore it's got to be something else. And with a little research, down the road, experimented, and frequency. Got it. No more ringing. That's how powerful our minds are. You know, people laugh and joke, oh, that's witchcraft. That's, you know, mind over matter. Guess what? Mind over matter is a real thing. It's something you learn how to do. That's why certain people in the world have such high pain thresholds. And it's not because of drugs or anything else. It's because they've trained their mind, which therefore controls those emotions, the sensations of pain, to where it allows them to endure harsher types of pain, no matter how they may be inflicted. We know how people adapt to their surroundings. We've seen the countless cases. We've seen the countless cases how just the thought of someone trapped under a car will trigger the adrenaline in your body's. In a normal circumstance, you could not lift that car. But yet, that one moment, they're able to lift that car. It's because the imagery you're taking in, seeing, your mind, subconscious part is triggering those things inside you that are required to boost your strength, your stamina. That's how powerful your minds are. Now, is it something we probably could do thinking about it? Probably not. It was a triggered event. There, I used that word again, triggered. See how easy it is for a trigger to manifest, to come about. We've all heard them. Most of us heard those stories. But most people don't view that as a trigger. In fact, it was a trigger event. A trigger. That's how powerful our minds. We create our own triggers. You know? When we create ourselves of awareness of things, when something that we've taught ourselves to be aware of or heard, the term planting seeds, yes, we're planting triggers. But time and place when you are ready to hear it. Most cases you're not ready to hear it now. That's why you'll instantly like, man, I remember somebody talked about that. That was a trigger. That was a seed that was planted. That's how powerful the mind is. That's how powerful certain people can be, especially those that know how to manipulate and use these things. They're not using them as for their own, well, they are actually technically using it for their own dirty, perverted pleasures. They're trying to control others. Why? Because most people don't know thyself. They don't know themselves. They don't question anything that they've been taught their whole lives. It's concrete. It's solid. That's why so many people who get caught up in the fake news thing, it's so easy because I remember growing up. The news tells the truth. Parents watched it, grandparents watched it, their grandparents and parents watched it. It was the truth. And anybody that questioned it, they created a label for them. And trust me, guys, conspiracy theory wasn't always the label or the truther community. It wasn't the label. Back in the 40s, 30s, 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, you would have found yourself probably in an insane asylum. The mentally ill. What's wrong with them? They're questioning the norm. They're questioning the reality that we've created for them. Trust me, not everyone that went to the asylums in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s were mentally ill. And for anybody that wants to see real horror stories, go research that. It was sickening. How they would, this person has a different belief, therefore he must be mental or she must be mental. It goes against what we were taught as kids. The devil's inside them or whatever. Yes, there are countless horror stories like that. Most people don't want to see reality for what reality is. Reality can be a scary thing. When you start looking into it and understanding and perceiving what is real and what has been fabricated. We don't want to see the real sometimes because the real has very much real horror stories to us. But yet, reality also has so much good. It has so much that's pure. And they don't want that. They don't want you to see things in its purest form. Because when you start seeing those things, you start questioning. You start questioning, why don't we have more good Samaritans? Well, that's quite simple. They put laws in place that punish good Samaritans. Now in the day of age, they'd much rather have you tied to a phone staring at it or an iPad staring at it than helping someone. The reality is, there should be no homelessness in the United States. That's the reality of it. But they don't want you to see that reality. The reality is, everyone has to have a boogeyman. They create the boogeyman. You create your own boogeyman. Always got to have someone to blame but yourself. Why? Something you don't want to, there's something that you don't want to face. Is what you really don't want to face is the reality. Let's blame it on the guns, right? That's the new boogeyman. Let's blame it on free speech. That's the boogeyman. Blame it on fake news. That's the boogeyman. It's another label. That's offensive. Why is it offensive? Why did that trigger you? Know thyself. Question. Why did that trigger you so much? The fact is, a gun is an inanimate object. It needs somebody behind it. And there is bad people in the world. That's reality. There's people in the world that will do bad things because they enjoy it. They get pleasure out of it. They get excited. Or whatever you want to say. They just do it because they can. Just like the good people in the world, they'll go out of their way to help a perfect stranger in need for no reason. But they don't want to show that. Once in a blue moon, they'll put something up. You know why they do that? It's another mental trick. To give you hope. To show you that they're still good. It becomes a thing, which is a good thing. I enjoy seeing stories like that. It shows that it's still people that are human, that believe in humanity. I I do get accused a few times, a lot, here of late, censoring myself. And I did. I'm the first one to admit it. Why? Because of things I know. And I'm not censoring topics. I don't talk about anything. But I try to keep the emotion out of it. Anything that could be used to persuade or manipulate. You gotta learn the value. Think before you speak. It's actually sound wisdom. On many levels. You know, doing this magazine is a part of knowing myself. I know myself, and I listen. Like I said, I go off feel more than anything. That's why it's hard for me to schedule when I'm going to do a podcast, because I don't know. If I feel drawn to do a podcast, talk about something like tonight, you know, yeah, I wrote the article, but there's like, man, there's just so much more that needs to be said. And probably a lot of it would have got said, you know, if I wasn't in a rush to get it out by midnight. It was the last article in the magazine that I wrote. But what it also helps me do, and that's the thing about writing for me, even doing these podcasts, it clears my mind. That's why I do Rambling for the Chaotic Mind. It clears my mind. It gives me new ideas, new thoughts, new questions and perspectives. That's why I enjoy interacting in the live chat. You know, we have the ability to reach so many people, to help them to start freeing their minds, breaking away from these labels, these divisions, these self-illusions that they've created. Me, that's just as important, you know, because, you know, even on a SHTF scenario, even in survival and prepping, your mind is the most powerful tool that you're going to have. And if you keep it cluttered with false ideologies, delusions of grandeur, ego, things that you were shown, taught, that you never questioned or tried, you're going to find yourself in a world of trouble. You know, for some, the hardest thing to interpret with themselves are their emotions, why they feel certain ways. Why do you love? Why do you feel that so strongly towards another? I like to think that you be a human in humanity. I like to think that's also part of a little bit of faith. Why do I feel anger, hatred towards certain things? And it's also part of being human. But you know what? I have control over that. Why am I going to let somebody else control that by using a word to trigger it? Why am I going to let somebody deny me something that could be life-changing? That's why I've learned to listen to myself, question things, try to never let things trigger me. And when I do come across something that triggers me, it's time for a bit of reflection. Why is that triggering me? Why is that bothering me? Is there something that I overlooked? Or is there something that I need to change? Or something that I was taught was wrong? Or did this trigger me because this is a bunch of BS and this is me finally becoming aware of it? You can't answer that if you don't know that stuff. If you don't start breaking these false ideologies, these fake labels. And yes, it's not an overnight process. Not at all. It's taken me years to even get to where I'm at now. And it's taken some good people in my life to teach me some harsh lessons when I've gotten off the beaten path, so to say. as well pick up that I don't care attitude anymore. Just like favorite new thing for some odd reason that I've only recently started to question. I'm sure you guys heard me say it. I've said it a lot lately. The time and place. Man, I don't normally say those things, but it is true. There's a time and place for everything. And there was a message there that I needed to learn. It's little things like that. Why did that saying just pop out of the blue? I was like, why am I saying it? What else caused it? It made me stop and question. You know, no one knows what tomorrow will bring. Why? Well, that's actually quite simple. Because for every choice, there's 1,000 possibilities. And it's actually more than that. It's pretty much infinite possibilities. You might be able to predict a few, understand a few, but every time you make one, let's say we jump to the second choice and a possibility. Okay, I make this choice, this and this might happen. Okay, well, I definitely don't want the first thing to happen. So therefore you just created another choice which has another infinite possibilities. No one can predict the future. We get glimpses of it. You know, just like the whole QAnon. It's just a big mind game. It's child's play. It's, for real, mental manipulation. That's why. When I seen it, instantly, warning flags went up, seen it for what it was. You know, here's how powerful your mind is. Illusions are easy to create. It's easy to project something to make you perceive something a different way. And truthfully, you're bombarded with illusions almost every day, all day long. As long as you've got a TV in front of you, a cell phone, staring at a cell phone screen, staring at your computer screens, whatever the little black window you're staring at, that is a form of optical illusion. A dangerous one at that. Because we can use green screens to make you perceive that we're actually here, but yet we're actually in a room somewhere. Yeah, right. But you can catch on, you can see it, if you know what to look for. It's not perfect yet, but they are working on perfecting it. So when you see the letters HC, oh, what have we been bombarded with on the news, in our feeds? What's the first thing that pops to mind? Yes. 98% of the people is going to say Hillary Clinton. When you start using abbreviation, you're creating that. And dude might get lucky from time to time. If something does come about. then again, did something come about, or did you cause it to come about by projecting that into manifestation? That's how powerful your minds are. And study the magicians that perform all the illusion tricks. David Copperfield, all the greats. It's tricking the mind. It's giving you aspects to where there's only one form of illusion. You walked in the door, and they had an object placed where you would just pass it through your peripheral. And these are the tricks of the trade. So your subconscious mind picks up on that because your conscious mind didn't. You walk in passing. Your focus is elsewhere. See, focus. Another part of our mind. Understand why meditation is such power. It's such a powerful tool for relaxing, centering, clearing the mind, focusing. And believe it or not, everybody meditates whether they realize it or not. When they get in the car and turn the radio on, the music, whatever channel they're listening, relaxes them. It's actually a form of meditation that most people don't even understand what they're doing. To allow them to be more focused. Focused on what? Oh, not at work. Focused on their driving. When you're working on something, you just get centered on it. And you get so fixated, you're actually entering a form of meditation that allows you to put deeper focus into it. The trick is knowing that you're doing that. So you're not doing it when you're doing a live video. You teach yourself how to be aware. You teach yourself. But most of you teach yourself that I'm not meditating when I'm listening to music in the car or driving, or when I'm just sitting back with my eye closed. That's not meditation. That's taboo. That's exactly what you're doing. Mental manipulation. You're just not associating the word with it. You're calling it by a different name. I'm relaxing. I'm working. I'm driving. You know, one of the hardest things I had to learn growing up was to quit caring what people think. Because, you know what? It doesn't matter what anyone thinks. Now, I remember this chick I knew. We had a conversation because I had cut my hair. Most people that know me, I usually keep my hair long. You know, granted, there are some pictures floating around of me bald. That was just a short little stint. A little rebellion, vindication kind of type thing. Person was right. But I knew the person would get mad if I took it all the way off. So, me being vindictful. And I actually kind of enjoyed being bald for a little bit. But I had cut my hair because of sports. I wanted to, don't know why, I wanted to play basketball. I hate basketball. But coach wanted me to play, which was something kind of surprising. So I did. And me and this chick got talking. She's like, well, I want to play. She goes, you cut your hair to play? I'm like, well, yeah, you've seen where that got me. I didn't make the grades, so I can't start. So I got to wait for the next semester. She's like, well, yeah, but you're going to be playing varsity. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to play. She's like, but you cut your hair. I'm like, well, yeah. I did. I tried it. It's still the same feeling, but I don't like it. Not my sport. Back then, baseball, football, volleyball's my sports. But I still, shoot backyard basketball. Who figures? But we got to talking. Well, she's like, "What? You think I'm pretty?" I'm like, she goes, "You think I look pretty with my long hair? Would you want me to cut my long hair?" I'm like, and this was like at the age of 15, 16. It's like this self-realization. It's like, it doesn't matter what I think. What do you think? This is what I told her. It doesn't matter what I think. I think you look beautiful as you are. But that's my opinion. What do you think? Do you really want to play ball? You'll still look just as good, I guess, with short hair. Would you be happy with cutting your hair? That's what it matters. What makes you happy? What you believe. Because if you believe it, others will see that. It's the other power of your mind. When you believe that, or when you have faith in something, others can see that. They can see that conviction. It radiates off you. You know, we always laugh about those, stupid, crazy things. Oh, you are what you eat. You are what you think. There's truth to some of that. If you think you are ugly, then people are going to perceive you that way. If you think you're not smart, then people are going to see you that way. You're creating an illusion. You're creating a stumbling block. We are our worst stumbling blocks. Why? Because of our minds. Things we create in our own minds. Limitations that we create. The most powerful saying, you can do anything you put your mind to it. Does it mean you're going to succeed? No. It's not always about succeeding. It's about learning new things, learning new skills and traits, or learning that, hey, I'm not that good at this, which may lead you into something that you are great at. I'll give you an example, my own personal example. This will amaze probably all of you since I just put the magazine out. I absolutely hated writing with a passion. I went to college for individual study of art. I was an art major. I was a good artist, but I was also getting burned out on it. I did it my whole, since I can remember. That was my thing, art. And it wasn't just drawing, painting. It was the whole, all of it, sandblasting, carving, even to the architecture and engineering aspects of blueprinting. I fell in love with that aspect. But I did so much of it. I had a teacher that expected so much out of four of us. There was four of us that he just picked out. People would say, "Oh man, you're going to get an A." Yeah, like hell I am. I'll be lucky to walk away with a C or a D. Because that's how hard he graded the four of us. And it wasn't because he was being mean, because he was pushing us to be better. And plus he knew some of us. He knew that I could turn in a 5-minute draw, 5-minute work. Well, a week or 2-week project that only took me 5 minutes to do. He knew it. He's seen me do it before. And he wouldn't let me do that. He wanted me to be better, to be more creative. And at the time I hated him for it. Until I got to see my art portfolio that he had put together. And his recommendations. In fact, I took individual studies. Why? Well, because I got to pick my own project, which, come to find out, because of my art portfolio and the things he written in there, that didn't work the way I thought it was going to work. I wasn't allowed to pick my own projects. Because he flat out put in it. If you let him pick his own projects, he's going to stick in a single field, and he's going to turn you in 5 minutes worth of work that looks like he spent hours and days on. And he put in there, he needs to be pushed. He needs to be challenged. But by then, I was so burnt out on art. But I was also a high school dropout. Dropped out. Never actually thought I'd go to college. But I ended up getting my GED. And a couple friends of mine was like, hey, let's go check out these campuses. I'm like, I only got a GED. I don't think I can go. He's like, oh, you just come on. You know, went to, first one I think it was Western Michigan, to Waljack. And I ended up going to Glen Oaks Community College, which was a baseball school. I don't know why at the time. I was done with baseball by that time. Done drew up my arm. But I ended up taking that Glen Oaks Community College because I was going to be able to transfer all my credits to BG. And actually pursue more of an architectural field. But I had no knowledge of what credit hours were. None of that. I also didn't understand what English comp stood for. But I had to have an English class, and there was only one available, and the particular one was a 1 day a week, every Friday, a almost 6-hour class? No, 8-hour class with a monotone professor. That's first day, and I'm working third shift, by the way. I'm working third shift, 21 credit hours. Yeah, no, like I said, didn't know, I had the understanding of what credit hours were. I kind of missed the whole high school thing. I just knew I had to have so many hours to be considered a full-time student. And the fact, delusions of grandeur. High school, GED, ex-stoner, burnout, scored third highest out of 1,000 people on the pre-entry test. So, yeah, I had my ego stoked a bit. Not bad for a high school dropout with a GED, I guess. So I was proud. Yeah, pride goes before the fall. I need to say I didn't last long at work because I was literally sleeping on the job. Here's how powerful a mind can be. I'm sleeping on the job, trimming parts with a knife, sharp knife, and doing quality control. Sound asleep. Foreman walked by. He's like, man, it was two of us. One operated the machine, and I cleaned the parts. He's like, man, he's just sound asleep, but the parts are good. I was like, man, he's going to cut himself. He's like, man, trust me, he's fine. We ended up making over rate. I mean, we really made over rate, like 7,000 over rate. But at the end of the shift, they made us stay longer, which just happened to be a Friday. I got to be at college by 8. We got off at 6, so I'm in a hurry. He made us go through every part with him standing there and QC'd it. Not a single part was wrong. It was all done from muscle memory. I don't know. It was just, that's how powerful our minds are. Because, no doubt about it, I was sound asleep. They would even record it. Sound asleep work. And I go sit in front of this class. First day, mind you, Wednesday was the day that you could drop a class. I would have dropped this class. But I didn't know what English comp was. Okay. Start reading the board and essays. Wait, what? No. No. Wrong class. Like, hello? This class, all we do is essays? I thought this was an English class. It's like English composition. That's what comp stands for. You knew that, right? I'm like, yeah, I knew that, but no, I didn't. But I'm not trying to look like an idiot in front of the whole class or to the professor. But yeah, I suck at writing. I hate writing. Truth is, I was actually quite good at it. Yeah, even playing around when I was a kid, we were just playing around, writing short stories and stuff. A few people say, man, you should write. I'm like, no, I hate writing. I know, but I did love poetry. I loved writing poetry. Except for I would play with the poetry. I would take Akita or whatever it is. I can't remember the names of them. But the different forms of poetry. And I would use free verse and start combining and interchanging them to where I was using 4 different types of poetry in one. See, I was challenging myself. These are the things I didn't realize that my actually art teacher realized. It took me years even after that before I realized these things. And how I do complexity better than I do simplicity. That's part of knowing myself. Simple things I get stuck on. Complex things, not so much. I can understand them and work them better, or tear them apart and understand them. Where something simple, I'll be lost for days, weeks, months on end. But I enjoy the simple things. The irony in that. So the first couple weeks, yeah, monotone professor, 3rd shift, nope, wasn't working. Sound asleep. Having to do essays, I think for the first couple weeks it was like 10,000 words every other line so he could correct. Can't use, only on the front side. Yeah, oh boy, that sucked. Then finally it was a choose your own. It's like, what the hell am I going to write about? I don't know what to write about. So I wrote an essay on mosh pits. Something I knew about. Understood. And, by then, it was like the fourth essay, so about the 4th week. I'm already the butt of the jokes of the class, trust me. Why? Because I'm the guy that sits up front and goes to sleep and slept through the class. 3rd shift monotone professor. If you ever got problems sleeping, there you go. Simple fix. But that was first 3 essays, 3.0, 2.5. Yeah, I sucked. I knew I sucked. But when he gave me a subject that I could choose, that's when I found, and he's like, man, I learned stuff. I didn't know about this. He's like, it's very informative. It's like, the best work you've done so far. He's like, you got talent for this. You just apply yourself. I'm like, okay. By then, I know this. His encouragement, see, how powerful your mind is. It will encourage you, challenges you. It was for me, it was encouragement, and a challenge of it. I started to pay a bit more attention. I was still sleeping for about another week, which I got fired, of course. But the irony of that is, a couple years down the road, I used that place as a reference because the foreman flat out said, dude, if you ever need a good reference, just put it here. I know we're firing you, but you can't be, it's kind of a safety risk, and I understand what's going on, and I'm going to put that in your write-up. So it's in your files that you were just going to school. You had too much on your plate. You were the best worker we had. I was like, okay. Now I'm thinking, yeah, whatever. Sure enough, it actually landed me another job just because of what he put in there. And it's the only place I've ever been fired from. But that's how I started learning that I actually had a talent for writing. I started getting more into class, especially now that I'm staying awake. Of course, that following week, it was bring the movie in, watch the show to class, and he's like, well, everybody go take a break, 10-minute break, smoke your cigarettes, hit the cafeteria, and we all come back in, and he's like, wow, you're still awake. So this is what I got to do to keep you awake, keep your attention? Just bring movies in? He's like, you do realize that you've been the butt of my jokes for the last 6 weeks, or 5 weeks. You're the only person I've ever seen sit up front and go to sleep. I'm like, oh, wow. A couple people's like, man, yeah, you guys, he's like, you've been our entertainment. Because he's been using you for the butt of the jokes every class. I'm like, wow. I remember at the end of the midterm, when we finally did the exams and stuff, he's like, he pulled me in, he's like, you know, if you weren't working third shift, you would have walked out of this class with a 4.0. He goes, you've got some good talent for writing, you just need to be pushed. He goes, then I told him, you do realize I hate writing. And it was a talent that I kind of put to the waste, I guess. I'd write poetry, stuff like that. But I never pushed the skill until 5 years ago, 2010, 7 years ago. No, it'd be 8 years ago. Wow, time flies. I decided, I was on some websites, working with some people, had my own website, and we decided for some odd reason I came up with this idea to create a magazine. And, you know, that brought out that love for writing. I enjoyed doing blogs and stuff on these websites. Why not do a magazine? It's that challenge. It's that writing that opens up your mind to different things. Much like doing this live stream on YouTube. Talking about things like this. It opens the mind. It frees it. It allows you to, you're talking on subjects. Sometimes something will just come up and it's like, I need to go back and think about that for a bit. You know, that's how powerful our minds are. We live in a world where we don't even conceive how powerful our minds really are. We don't conceive of how much BS we take in that is garbage. It's meant to enslave us and trap us. We don't question. We have forgotten to know thyself. We've forgotten how to question ourselves. We have forgotten to listen to ourselves. That's why we have all this division. That's why we have all these labels. That's why we get caught up in things like QAnon. That's why we divide ourselves in separate communities. That's why we call ourselves Democrats, Republicans, Conservatives. We're putting ourselves in a box, and we're putting shackles on ourselves. So we can't use our minds to see the truths, to question things. They don't want you to question things. They had a term for that back in the Middle Ages. Heretics, heathens, those that questioned. We are taught not to question. Therefore, we are taught not to question ourselves. Yeah, I'm getting ready to wrap this up here. still kind of mentally exhausted from doing the magazine. I mean, step back and start questioning, start attuning to yourself, self-reflecting, start learning to know thyself. So when you start knowing thyself, you'll start seeing things as it really is. You'll start removing and breaking free from all those shackles that are binding you, but you don't even realize that they are. You'll even start to realize things that you created yourself that bind you and keep you from things and sets you back. Our minds are such a powerful tool. And there's people out there that know it, and they use it as a weapon to enslave us, to manipulate us, to control us. And some people are going to say, oh, this is too spiritual, this is too whatever. This has nothing to do with prepping or constitution. It has everything to do with everything. When you're allowing yourself to be manipulated, to controlled, when you have this, when you let your ego or delusions of grandeur say that you're a leader, you can lead, when in truth, you'll freeze up when something happens because you don't know thyself. This fits in every walk of life, every belief system, everything. You know, we have one of the most powerful, the second most powerful tools at our disposal to research anything and everything, gather every opinion and view on a matter. In the end, it is you that comes up with your own opinion and view and perspective of a matter. You choose to decide if it's right for you or wrong for you. Not no one else. You. And guess what? I respect that. I might not agree with your choice. Then again, maybe I need to do some self-reflection because you might be right. Or it's not meant for me at that time, or you might be wrong. Which you will find out as you go and grow and question. The more you break free of those shackles, bring down those illusions, those walls that you've created and that others have created for you. Sometimes what you believe now is just a stepping stone to further enlightenment, further awareness and understanding. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this, like I said. Yeah, it's a bit different. Oh, I meant to bring this up. Yeah, see, know thyself, right? Meant to bring this up in the beginning of the show. Quick update on the Isu magazine. The magazine that's on Isu. I found out why I couldn't download last night. Isu now only allows premium members to offer downloads. And since I'm using the free version, and I will always use the free version, you will not be able to download it. You'll still be able to embed it, like, share. So what I did is I had made a copy of it on Google Docs, and I just made the original one downloadable off Google Docs. It's where you can download it as a PDF from Google Docs for those that would want to download it. Like I said, there's a fix to everything. You just gotta use your mind. Think and question, okay, well, how can I do that? Just like I just sat there here, how can I upload this to Patreon? Oh, it'll upload as a video. Nice, thanks. Figure that one out. See, when you start figuring things out, you start learning how to use all of these tools they give us. Because you're thinking, you're questioning, you're experimenting, you're not letting anything limit you. Limitations is just a figment of your mind. So, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed. I know I said yesterday I wasn't going to do another video until this weekend, but hey, like I said, that's why I really don't schedule, because, I don't know, I just wanted to talk about it. It was on my mind, I felt drawn to talk about it. And I know myself, I've learned to listen to myself. I know when I feel that like that, I know it's needed. Because, yeah, it's probably not a typical topic I talk about on this channel, but it's an important one. But I will catch you guys on the next video, whenever that may be. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe out there. I will catch you on the next one.